You know, listen, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what we have now. And you know, the sad thing about it, you got to take another step in this. I say this all the time. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I get blowback from it all the time. During our era, my time in that life and around people, your father, my father, we weren't allowed to mess with drugs. We didn't deal with drugs at all. We were told, stay away from it. We don't want to hurt the kids. It's dirty business. We couldn't deal with drugs.
Godfather Harlem, I got my father screaming, I took bumpy junks.
Oh, that's a
heroin.
total nonsense. Total nonsense.
Hated drugs.
Yeah, hated it. My
Hated
father,
it.
too. Hated it. My father used to make up stories to scare me when I was a kid about drugs.
Me too.
Yeah, same thing. Hated anything to do with drugs. You know, and now they make us sound like we were the big drug dealers. We got involved in everything we did. We didn't do that. Our neighborhoods, we protected our neighborhoods. I've been saying to people now, and again, you know, this government that we have now is worse than a lot of guys I knew on the street. Worse.
Michael, they take your soul, and they make you feel like you're what's the word? Like you're a traitor to your own government by being a patriot. You know, I want, and I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. They call it organized crime. You take the crime out of our morals. Take that crime out. It's the best morals in the world, and it will save this country. It will put the family unit back together and put things in perspective. People in this country, for power, money, women, will walk in front of a bazooka. For honor and their children, they'll run away from a BB gun, and we were raised opposite.
Yeah.
And that's what the people don't see.
Well, you know, a lot of people now, I think, are seeing that because they've gone too far. They've gone too far with the way they're acting. I mean, everything. And look, you know, I try to tell people when I talk about this, it's because it's really troubling to me. It isn't a question of politics. These are issues that are affecting our lives. We have 100,000 kids a year dying of opioid and fentanyl poisoning. Not even addiction. Poisoning.
They got so many customers, they're killing them.
Yes.
What they say bookmakers hit them, they're killing people with fentanyl.
Absolutely.
On purpose.
Absolutely.
There's
it
no
has
doubt.
to be because they won't stop it, and they can.
Right.
They can.
Of course they can.
I mean, look, I spoke with 850 Border Patrol agents from the state of Texas. If I tell you some of the stories they told me, who's dying at the border, how much drugs they're collecting, who's getting away, what terrorists they don't know are coming into this country or not. If
people forgot 9/11?
Yeah, if people know this is happening, how do you not stop it? You could stop it like this. Close the border and
we
then
were the
come up with a plan.
scapegoats of the foundation that they built. While they were pointing their fingers at the Italian people and making like we controlled everything, they were running away with all the money and building a foundation. The money from what they call organized crime was seed money from the prohibition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about the seed money from the cocaine and heroin areas now?
You can't even compare the numbers.
It's a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
And it's going to become a corporation, and we're going to risk our freedom, Mike.
No, I know. Look, I'm a very optimistic guy, but I'm pessimistic about the direction. I don't know if it can reverse. Even with if a guy that really cares, I don't want to say Republican or Democrat, a guy that really cares about the country come in and say, listen, I'm not into the politics. We have a lot to do in America. We have to build this country back. Unless that happens,
the Constitution was not written by politicians.
No.
No.
No. And you know what? I say this from being a patriot because I love my country. I have kids and grandkids. I want it to be the same or better for them than it was for us. Yeah, we want it to be better. But if you see the trend now, I mean, look, people 80 years old, 83 years old, can't even get out of a wheelchair. They want to stay in Congress. Why? Go. I hate to say it, but you get a Nancy Pelosi. She's a multi-million, several $100 million. Yes. You're 83 years old. Go home and stay with your grandkids.
Can't.
You did enough. They can't release the power anymore. It's all about power.
It's addictive.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible what's going on. I don't understand it. You know, I'm at an age now. Yeah, I do what I do, and I like what I do. But I want to spend time with my family. I'm not going to go to Washington and or any place and be away from my family 7 days a week or 5 days a week.
Never wanted to.
Not at that age. Not when I don't need anything. But
you saw your father away from his family so long.
You know, look, destroyed our family.
Destroyed mine too.
You know, Chris, I have bitterness for that because sister died of an overdose of drugs. My brother, you know the story,
Yes.
drug addict.
Was
How
at
many years?
my wedding with your mother.
Yeah.
Yes, Johnny.
My brother John. It was a good kid until he
The
a
drugs.
total mess.
Yes.
Total messed up. You know, my younger sister, 41 years old, she died. She
I
was
didn't know
never.
that.
Yeah, she was never stable. You
I
know,
didn't know that.
and then my mother, you know,
How's she
it was
doing,
just-
Mike?
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, she passed too.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 2012.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, she had cancer.
Nice woman,
Yeah,
Tina.
yeah. She was rough, but she was.
My mother was rough too. Thank God. I'm still sitting here because she's rough.
Yes, yeah. Oh, my mother's.
My mother said, "Wait till your father gets home." I said, "Why? You already killed me over here."
No, I'll tell you what. You know what? I can tell you this. I hope I like to say my dad made me a little bit smart. My mom made me strong.
Yeah,
She
me
didn't
too.
spare the rod.
My mother was very smart.
Yeah. But she gave it to me. But you know what? She was a perfect match for my father, without a doubt. Because she was no pushover in any way.
I was always strong, very strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always strong mentally, and I used to like to break walls a lot. I
Yeah.
could torment, I'd make the paint come off the walls if I could, you know, in my younger years.
Yeah.
And my mother used to hit me with wooden spoons. And then she'd hit me with brooms.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to laugh at her. Then she used to hit me with pot covers, the iron frying pan. I said, "What are you doing? You're going to hurt
I
yourself."
had the same thing.
And she used to get mad. You might saw the movie Casino?
Yeah.
You see that thing, Happy Birthday, they zapped the guy with? She came home with a cattle prod. After that, she straightened me right out. I did like electric shock.
Oh, I was gonna one up you, but I can't beat that. My mother broke a guitar over my back.
Oh, come on.
Guitar.
Quick
Boom.
Straw McGraw.
Hit me with it. Yeah. Whatever was next to her, that's what she used.
It was a
Boom.
cartoon.
Yeah. Whatever
Pony
was
with the
next to
guitar.
her.
Oh, come on. He used to hit you.
You know, I got to say this. One day, I walked in the house. I was like 19, 20 years old, right? I walked in. I don't even know what I did. I walked in the house. I don't know where she came from. Boom. She smacks me across the face. Chris, I got so mad. We had these louver doors that separated the kitchen from the hallway. I started punching the louver doors. I lost my mind. She ran up the stairs, went into the room, and locked the door. You know, I would never touch my mother. Of course, my father would
Unheard
kill me.
of.
Yeah, my father would forget about it. Right or wrong, you know, it doesn't
Not only
matter.
that, how would you feel about yourself?
I feel terrible, yeah,
Right.
afterwards.
That is the point. Not because somebody's judging you. Have exercise your own set of morals
Exactly.
to feel bad. Please, thank you, I'm welcome, you're sorry, and a magic word.
Exactly.
You can't force somebody to feel bad.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to prison. My dad says I'm going to give you 3 words. You know them already, but I'm going to give you 3 words that are going to save you a lot of headaches in prison. Please, thank you, excuse me. And you know what? One of the wisest things he ever told me. Because you know how it is in jail.
Yeah.
You know, but the same way we lived out on the street, we're always courteous. He always used to tell me this too. He said, "Michael, be nice to the little people."
Always.
Now, when he said that, he didn't mean to be demeaning to. It was just his way of saying it.
Yeah.
He said, "Treat the valet parker right."
Yes.
The waitress, always compliment them. You know, everybody, treat them the right way. He says, because those are the people that make you strong.
Yes.
It's not the people on top.
No.
It's those people that make you strong. These little nuggets of wisdom, I can't tell you how they helped me throughout my life. I mean it. I know your dad was the same way. Because you know what? I mean it, Chris. He was somebody that you admired because he carried himself the right way. He really did. And it's a pleasure to speak to you because I know how you were brought up with your dad. I mean that.
Thank you. It's an honor you say that. And this is the way I brought my son up and my daughter too. And I'm going to tell you, I like to think that, through the divorce, I got custody of him and I spent a lot of time with him. And they started calling me Mom, Dad. Because I would do the Christmas Eve dinners and the celebrate thing and cook and teach them to take care of themselves. And I think our job as a parent is, and we will know if we did our job, if we give them the tools to survive without us and they bless us for it and say, thank God my mother and father taught me that, or they say they hate us for not giving them the tools. Yeah. And my purpose here is not just my children, your children, all children, the guy and give them the tools how to think. People don't think.
Yeah.
Murray Richmond and the people I met, they come on my podcast, say I'm the smartest guy they ever met. I think I'm the biggest idiot I ever met, Well, people
No,
think
you speak very well. I mean that.
I speak from the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, no, without a doubt. And another thing I want to say, we have a chance to talk about this.
Good.
I'm not saying my dad was an angel on the street. I'm not saying he didn't do things. Same way I wasn't,
Hey, Mike, can I say something to you?
Yeah.
I'm a God guy. Jesus was prosecuted on the first RICO. He hung with prostitutes. He sat around with his men, had big dinners, drank wine, and angels were hitmen. I mean, he was as much as our culture as anybody else.
Yes. Well, I don't want to take Jesus as organized crime. I'm not going to do that. But I understand.
But the government did.
Yes. I understand what you're saying.
And they killed him for money.
They killed him for money and jealousy.
Yes.
And envy.
Envy.
That was it.
But he was a man's man.
Yes.
People don't understand. Had he not looked up and say, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do, the angels wipe us out.
Oh, it would have been over with. Those were I'll tell you this.
So you agree with that?
100%. Those were the 10 greatest words that were ever spoken
in life.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. 10 greatest words ever that set the tone. Yeah.
That set the message you wanted me to bring.
Absolutely.
Those were men of power. That's a man of power.
Absolutely.
It saved me.
But I want to say this. Whatever my dad did on the outside when I was a kid, never brought it into the house.
Did not exist.
In the house, it was respect. It didn't even talk about it. Never. You know, and I say this, they accused my dad of 20, 30, 40 murders. I was with my dad. I was so close to him. Never once would he even talk about it, admit it, say anything about it, because he wouldn't bring it into the house. And I know I'm going to get hit on this a little bit because I want to try to bring some of the respect back into our life.
That's
because
what I'm trying to do here for children, all races.
Exactly. Because if people on the street today would act like we acted, like our fathers acted, it would be a different world, no doubt. Never brought it into the house. Always tried to teach the family the right way, and say what you want. To me, that was admirable at the time because
he had compassion too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And again, people, oh, come on, Michael, you guys were killers and all of this and that. They're not understanding what I'm saying. We didn't bring that garbage into the house. In the house, we were family. We were family. And
we didn't violate our home.
Exactly.
Or anybody else's.
No, we didn't. And a lot of things that are said are just not true. And I tell you what, I just wish we had more influence now than
That's
we
what
had
they took
at one
away,
time.
Mike. We do have influence. This internet is a great thing. I want people to reason for themselves. Think.
Yeah.
My father used to say, there for the grace of God go I, and I judge no man till I walked in his shoes. And man is supposed to be like a sword. It's got the blends of the best of steel to make him stronger. And truth is a very important one. Now, why would anybody go out and boast being tough or do that? It's contradictory to the younger generation. Mistake my brother Anthony made was my father as a martyr for the league and him vice president could have went to the. I think he hung in there for that. He made a bad choice, a bad path.
Yeah.
One my father did not want. But he woke up out of that coma, Anthony would have been in trouble. And I took the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
In that case, I was the only male member of my family left home. And I never forget, I knew my life was finished. I walked downstairs, and my nephew's about to go to college. He said, my mother wants me to get a job. My father's going away for a long time. He wasn't very handy at work and stuff like that. And I felt so bad for this kid, even though I was dealt a bad hand. I says, you go, I'll take care of it. Don't worry, you got my word. I took care of all of them.
Yeah.
Best I could do. And,
well, who else would do that? Because that's how we were brought up.
And I had to be the bad guy doing it.
Yeah.
And then, it never worked out good for me. The Fed said to me many times they tried to flip me, no good deed goes unpunished. They said, I'd rather be punished for a good deed than a bad one. So that's where it continued. But people don't understand. I saw what it did to the family on a RICO on the outside, and then my own RICO.
Yeah. No, hey, devastating. That law, I'll tell you what, if the league could have accomplished anything and just put that law at bay, it was devastating. It's so unconstitutional.
They served, they were on me after state RICO from 96 to 2001. They bugged all my phones. I had businesses. I was involved in an international bank. I was involved in a home improvement. Always very smart in business. My dream is just get up and go to work and not be bothered. That's my fantasy.
Right.
I swear to God to you.
Yeah.
That's why these kids, I work with the finance office. I motivate them. That's like some people want to have action. I would love to be able to just do that.
What's your best talent business-wise that you would say? Are you a detail guy?
I can see what's wrong with something. That's why bookmaking, because I can see what's wrong with the games. So consulting, I could see what was wrong with a company and fix it. So let's say you had a business. I would come in and learn every job in that business quickly. I would do everybody's job, because how could you consult if you don't understand? I see these CEOs are not even in contact. But I could see what was wrong with things. And that came from coming from places there was a lot wrong. That came after there was a lot right. So I saw it better than anybody. And being the youngest brother, you see the mistakes other people make.
Right.
So I'd like to say maybe I was a genius if I was the oldest, but I learned from their mistakes.
Well, that's how you're supposed to learn, right?
Yes.
And did you have one of your talents is motivating people, getting them to do the right thing?
They say I'm the best motivational speaker.
Well, I can see that because, you know, people always say, Michael, you're a brilliant businessman. And I'm the first one to say, no, I'm not. There's a lot of things that I don't like, I don't enjoy, I'm not good at. But my talent
Smart
was...
man realizes what he don't know.
It couldn't even get involved. But I knew back in the day, and hopefully a little bit now, to select a good business, a deal, and then put the right people in place that motivate them to get the right work out of them. And that's what it's all about for me, because I'm not a detail guy. But I could see why you'd be successful. You got a good way about you, really.
Like, I never spoke of this openly, but I watched my father's brains get blown out at 9 years old.
Oh, God.
I watched him suffer for 7 years, and then they didn't put a shunt in. That's why they killed him. The doctor standing by that did the surgery on him was the same doctor standing by for Kennedy, Dr. Hansen. So it went that far, and I proved it.
Really?
Yeah, well, Chubby didn't get arrested, so he's not supposed to make it that day. And what I was angry about, I could live as a man. He wouldn't back down from his people, and that's what he taught me, to don't back down for your family under any circumstances, even if it costs you your life. Look at your father. 40 years of his life, he didn't back down.
Right.
Never backed down in his life. He didn't act like a lunatic like they show these people on TV. He took it gracefully, and he took it like a man, and he threw roses back. Like I says. So to continue, my anger came from we did everything. We turned the house upstate into like a hospital. Did not even drop foot or a bed sore did he get. And we had whirlpools. Forget about what my mother did. It was unbelievable, the way she took care of him. And the CAT scan was being in experimentation.
Right.
And we was the first guy to get CAT scanned at Sid Laser.
Really? That's it. It was
we brought the best
experimenting back
neurosurgeon.
then.
We thought he was semi-comatose. There was times he was almost himself. Butch Kishir would come and make him laugh.
Yeah.
Sometimes he could talk, sometimes he couldn't. Sometimes he could take steps, sometimes he couldn't. And then he'd fall back into this state, grind his teeth from the pain. And I used to wake up in the middle of the night and put the tongue depressor with the gauze in there. It played on your mind. And my angry years came from when this doctor came up that did the CAT scan. They never put a shunt in to drain the damage. And there's no way that a neurosurgeon...
Purposely, you think?
What?
You think purposely?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They killed him that day, and he fought hard, Mike. That's where my anger came from. He made his decision to die that day, like, maybe I can make mine. If I want to die for my kids and my people, that's what a patriot does. But a doctor who took the Hippocratic oath, and we live in a country where that's not supposed to happen. Those are healers. The Catholic Church should let priests get married. That's not fair.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's the same, calling the same lines. That's what my angry years came from when I was angry.
Let me ask you this, Chris, very personal. I mean, you were 9 years old when this happened.
Yes.
How the heck so many people couldn't come out of that the way you have?
I was marked for mental, spiritual, and physical extinction for the day. I had the best 9 years a human being could have, and I focused on that. And I never wanted anybody to be me. And I came up with a philosophy: you never empower negativity. And that bad thing, people give an excuse. Like if I say, I walk around and I choose to shoot him off that chair and I say, this is what happened to me, I could get away with it, I'm empowering that evil act. So I'm going to help that man and not shoot him off the chair. And that's screw that evil act. That's the way I see it.
So you turned it around. So
yes.
So your advice to any young person, whether it be a male or female that's gone through trauma or tragedy, say it again. What advice do you give them to come out of it?
I give to them, forget the experience, remember the lesson, and give back. Don't make that act any stronger than what it was. Or you're giving into it and you're empowering it to be strong, empowering it to be evil. That's where evil comes from. And that's what I believe in my heart. And I almost had 9,000 fights after that. I'm very, very good with my hands, but I never started fighting. I let myself get hit first. So I was brought up that way. And I'll tell you the truth. You remember Camp Unity?
Yeah.
Italian American Civil Rights Final. He never got to see it open, but there was 2,000 underprivileged. They said he took money. What he did, you have no idea. You were there. You helped him.
Yes.
Built things. He put a handicap pool in 1970 for handicapped kids. And I don't want to glorify him, but he thought about kids. He thought about the future. That was his concern, and that was the lead to give dignity back to the Italian people. Give back to you and your children. And the bad things that people say. So I was so angry, mad. And we brought the statues from the camp. One was St. Jude, patron saint of impossible causes. One is Our Lady of Fatima, which I wear around my neck in the front. And the other one is the Sacred Heart. So I never forget, this is what snapped me out of it. I must have had 7,000 fights. Businesses would be like guns. They put them to my head. I kept going. I got running, came over and chased the car, never knocked off my feet. I was angry. So when I was taking care of everybody's family, and I didn't do no drugs, I wasn't drinking. And when I drink, I'm not a good drinker. You know? And neurological line, but sometimes like Tourette's. My kids laugh at me. I'll take a fit. They'll laugh. I say, I got to talk to you. They get serious. And I forget, I went out in front of the Sacred Heart, and I looked at its eyes, and I says, why don't you dealt me this hand, why don't you come down and fight me? Mike, I swear to God to you, and I didn't fear anything. Nothing. Zero. I didn't have kids at the time. You don't know fear till you have children. Now, if I tell you I don't fear anything, I'd be lying to you. Mike, the sky went gray, right? You've been to my father's house many times.
Yeah.
Where the Sacred Heart is right by where the pool is, by the first driveway. In front of the house, maybe 40 yards, step back. It's really at that. The eyes opened up and looked at me. Mike, I saw power like I never saw in my life. I swear to you, I got chubby legs. I'm fast. I can take me, but I hit that front door in 4 steps. That night I slept at the foot of my mother's bed. And I got up with a different approach. It's not what God did to me. It's what I was doing to myself.
Amen.
And I died 3 times. I was blind. I had double hip replacement from the Lyme. I told the doctor I'd walk out in the 3rd morning. I did. Not very well, but I did. So I know what it's like. I just hope now that I can see again. I see as good as I was blind. And I could get around as well as when I was infirm, because God had humbled me. Not that I needed humbling. I needed to see how other people felt, because I was strong. That's what he showed me, how to feel weak. And it actually made me stronger.
Well, God is strongest to us when we're weak.
Yes.
I believe that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And the God I met when I died, and the doctor, the day I came in that day, I had a dream, I put it off. I said, the Lord hates a coward. He said, I'm going to die. They don't revive me. Everybody down there sucks. I told him I used worse words than that. So when I start to die, I'm going to die for like the shock from giving me a shot that he's given me before. And the doctor's going, you're right, you're going to die. I'm laughing to my balls off at him. I says, look at you. And he's going, call an ambulance. I says, hey, dummy. I says, ambulance brings you to the doctor. I'm already here. I says, where's it going to take me? To the morgue? I says, go ahead. I said, I told you not to revive me. He says, what do I do? I said, you have an EpiPen. But he gave it to me intravenously. I snapped out of it. That's when I died again. My heart stopped. You know what I felt like? See the movie Casino again?
Yeah.
You know when Sharon Stone walked around the thing and then she collapsed, the way she felt?
Yes.
I felt the doctor tell me.
At the end of the movie when she
I looked down and it was like a globe. You know those globes you shake?
Yeah.
I don't think I came out of a blip of water. And you're not in a white light, but it's soft. It's hearing without hearing, seeing without seeing, speaking without speaking, knowing without knowing, feeling without feeling.
So you had a glimpse of the afterlife.
I spoke to God.
Yeah.
He told me, he says, and I was going through a divorce. I needed 5 eye surgeries. I needed double hip replacement. My sinuses were finished. My heart was enlarged. I just got over Bell's palsy. It was a miserable experience.
How long ago was that?
2013, 2012. Wow. So when I see God, I says, is that you? He says, well, who you expected? I said, I figured I had a 50-50 shot. He laughs. You feel him laugh.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God. Let him strike me down. I don't need to worry about it.
Also talk about what it's like growing up with the powerful intellectual fathers that you
Let me finish the story. Support them because the God guy he wants to know this.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, because I'm really interested in this.
Yeah, I know. I watched this podcast.
Yeah.
He found God in jail and
Yes.
felt it was abandoned prior to that. And he wants to know what's in the afterlife.
Yeah.
It's there.
So, Chris, I want to you honestly, because I believe you, and this is
I don't lie.
very powerful to me. You honestly had a conversation with God.
But you're not speaking. You just know it.
It's just a
Take
sense.
the energy. There's no eyes. The eyes are a lens to the brain. The mouth is the brain is speaking. It's the soul. You're in touch with your soul. So I'm telling you what he said. I says the same thing I told him. I says he called me an idiot. I says I came here for you to come. I told him I packed my lunch. I need unconditional love. Where's my mother and father?
Yeah.
He says, you think you should just walk in now? I says, yes. He says, no, you know how many times you're supposed to be here before? I says, I don't care. He says, didn't you get my dream? But what he said was most important. He says, I am people, and people are me. You lose faith in people, you lose faith in me. Governments are not people, people are.
Wow.
And that's your answer.
Well, you know why I say that? Because there are a lot of people who have
That's
experienced
the whole
that
reason for
experience.
today's podcast, if you want to know.
Yeah.
To be able to tell you that, because I know you're in search of.
Yeah. No, that's powerful. And how long did it last to you? Did he make you understand this is not your time? Not your time to be with
From
me?
the Lyme disease, I died 4 times. I've been run over. I've been shot. I can't tell you how. One time I was wrestling with a guy that pulled a knife. I was this long. When I went to the ground, I don't know what the guy spoke up. It was in my hand. Another time I was driving a car. I was in a car accident. I went through the windshield and somehow broke my chest, broke the dashboard in half. I was out of the car. I was back in it. So I don't know. But he did say that to me. And I was trying to die. I wasn't a coward. I wouldn't kill myself. And the answer to your question is growing up by powerful men, to give in or to kill yourself was unheard of. So as long as people need me, I had a purpose. And that gave me the strength. And I like to think that I give people strength when they don't have it for themselves. But if I don't do that, I feel weak.
Let me ask you, do you attribute that inner strength to your dad's teaching and your mom? We got to give your mom credit here too. Our moms, I would say. I can say this: for most of my life, and maybe even until now, I'm a product of what my father taught me. I have the things that he taught me have never left me.
I always invoked a lot of jealousy.
Yeah,
For whatever reason.
Well, I know why, but go ahead.
I know which.
Yeah.
Self-praise stinks, my mother used to say. So I was always secure within my house. And yes, everything that came from our parents. And I'm that type of man. And then we were taught there were many ways to be tough, but the best one was you were tough for other people that were weak. And you protected them. We did not grow up in a predatory environment.
No.
We felt safe when they were there. And other people did too. Predators didn't feel safe.
Right.
Right. It's reversed now.
No. Let me ask you a question. Saying that, how do you feel about this whole defund the police movement? And the reason I ask you, we were brought up by guys on the street. We were in the street ourselves. How do you feel about the defund the police?
We were brought up in my house. The cop on the beat was your friend that was treated with respect. You know, my kids, I teach them. Cop pulls you over, license, registration, insurance. There's good and bad and everything. You don't want to blame the police. You follow me? And I've never had a problem with law enforcement. I'm respectful. I got caught with my hand in a cookie jar. You caught me. You got to go home to your family. So do I. That was ridiculous. I think that the people that are causing that to happen are the ones that need the police.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
I'll never forget, when my dad was being surveilled and followed all the time, I got in a car, and they must have thought I was him, right? So they didn't see. I got out, I'm driving away, I was driving his car, and I saw they were behind me, so I wanted to be a wise guy, and I started leading them on a wild goose chase, right? Driving all over the place and this and that. And finally, I come home afterwards. I get home, I go in the house, they get out of the car, and they go tell my father, this is what your son was doing. I can't even begin to tell you how mad he got me.
Same thing with me.
Oh, my gosh. You disrespect the cop.
Both my
Do you know
brothers,
what
I
they
was
can
too
do?
young.
Yeah. So mad at me he got. Don't you ever do that again. He was just beside himself.
Yes.
Meaning that he taught us to respect the police. He said, they got their job. He said, listen, the guys that are going to frame you, what are we going to do? We got to fight them. but he taught us to respect them because he said they keep discipline, and we need discipline, and we need law and order. You know, and people don't understand that. I tell them that, and people, oh, come on, Michael, you're a street guy. I say, yeah, I have a wife and children. When they walk down the street, who's going to protect them?
How about when they get the rapists?
Yeah, who's going to protect them?
Okay.
You know? I just, again, because people have to understand, we had moral and we had principle, and we brought up that way, you know? We're not angels, we understand that, but we brought up with a certain amount of, you know. But no, I'll tell you, Chris, that's really moved me to that experience that you had.
I never, see, I heard you say you found God in jail, and you never had him in your life before. I've always had him. And I got to tell you, truly, he got me true. I really did. I acted like a spoiled brat. You know, I wanted to fight him, you know. In the beginning, when your father disciplined you, when I hate that guy, you know, you say that, and then you realize I love that guy.
Well, that's good, because I don't think I had him. Growing up as a Catholic, and I'm not blaming Catholics, it was just me. He wasn't, God was there, I understood it, but I didn't delve into it, and it didn't have an impact on me in any way.
No purpose for you then?
No, no purpose.
Well, if you think about it, God is our Father, and your father was always missing. So it might have really reminded you of what you lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You just weren't ready to open up.
Yeah.
And people think because you're a guy you can't be a tough guy. It's the exact opposite.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Listen, Jesus was no wimp. He was strong.
Hey, you kidding me? They gave him the best they could give him. They couldn't break him.
Yeah, that's right.
I couldn't have took that.
No. You know what? Have you been to Jerusalem?
And he was a businessman.
Yeah, absolutely.
He fed 3,000 people with a loaf of bread and a fish. That's a businessman.
Have you ever been to Jerusalem?
No.
You got to go, because if you walk where Jesus walked, and you're in that environment, you just can't help but understanding what a tremendous man he was. Really, to walk the steps, to carry that cross, to do what he did, no human being could have done that other than him.
But the church forgets to talk, teach you. And what Jesus said is, you could do what I do if you get in touch with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
The church was about taking your money. They didn't want you to be advanced in medical or technology. They want you to come and pray and give them money. The Holy Spirit, Michael. That's what I was taught. We're connected by it.
Yeah.
Like Avatar.
You know what I learned? I don't know if you know this, but the pastor of our church, Greg Laurie, a brilliant guy, just wonderful communicator, just, wonderful. And I know Greg going back. I listened to his radio show when I was in jail. It helped me interpret scripture. But, whenever you think the one unforgivable sin is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So when you think of that, you think blasphemy, like you're cursing out the Holy Spirit. But it's not that. The Holy Spirit's job on this earth is to bring us to Jesus, to introduce us to Jesus, to bring us to Jesus, to let us know who he is.
No, Jesus is in all of us, in the Holy Spirit.
He's in all of us, but if we reject that, if we say we don't want to hear it, we reject it, and we reject Christ, that's when we're committing blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
I don't think a negative. I think we each have our own path to follow. I've had a tortured life. After 9 years old, other family going to jail, Rico's friends getting clipped. Is it anything different about the Holocaust? Mm-hmm. What about the Depression? What about after World War II and in World War II? You follow me?
Yeah.
Am I feeling anything that other people didn't feel before?
No.
So I think we're producing in our perspective. Joe Colombo used to say, the closer your perspective is to the truth, the smarter and more successful you should be. So somebody's always had it worse and walked in those shoes.
Yeah.
But who's had it worse than Jesus?
Nobody.
And they always blamed Italians for killing Jesus. Even we took the rap for that. It's a
Romans,
yes, right?
The Romans, yeah. We take the rap for everything, right? Everything. It's all about us. But let me tell you this. I am putting a platform together with Mike Tyson. It's called Champions Corner, but basically the whole process is to be mentors, to help people turn their adversity into an advantage.
It's called alchemy. Yes, alchemy.
And we've been working on this platform now. We're going to introduce it actually, what's today, Tuesday? Thursday, okay, after almost a year of work. I think you would be great to jump on board with us. I really
My
mean it.
pleasure.
Because we want to. It's the very same reason. Mike has been through a lot in his life. He wants to give back now. He wants to help people, help young people. And
I always wanted to box him when I was younger, only without the gloves.
you don't want to box him now.
No.
I'm telling you. You know, he's your age, actually. No, he's a little younger. He's 58, I think.
Is he in good shape?
Oh, he's
I hit like nobody's business. I still hit harder now. I only say that out of ego, but actually I want to give him a hug.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you hit him, you may knock him down, but don't let him hit you.
Mike, I could stop. My history has taught us anything.
Yeah.
There's two ways to win a fight. Take more pain than they give more pain than they can take. I've always been the guy taking more pain than they can give.
Yeah, well.
I'm just teasing. I like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, no, you would like him. He's you know, what you see is what you get. That's why you'd like him. He has no filter. Whatever's up here comes right out of his mouth, but it's always honest. He's very sincere.
Diarrhea in the mouth.
Always honest and always sincere. But he really wants to help people. That's his legacy now.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you involved in it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
You have a good time. And well, you know what? We want to benefit. Our young kids need mentors.
Bad.
You know, and not only the young kids, these young kids that survive, you know, youth and get into their late 20s, 30s, 40s, they need mentors because they didn't learn anything when they was young. You know, and now they've lost their way. They don't know where to go or what to do in life. They need advice and they need mentors.
They need direction and they need somebody to believe in them.
Yeah.
I got like 40 kids that call me nephew. And one of the things when I motivate, who are we? They all say together, soldiers of God. What do we do? Whatever the task is, we happen to be doing in that business. And, you know, you prep them. You know, I can pump people up like nobody's business.
Good. That's what we need.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you got to inspire, motivate.
You got to make people better than you is the idea.
Exactly.
See, people that try to motivate you, some people try to make themselves be the subject. It's not that way. You got to rise people above you is our job.
One of the greatest compliments you can get from somebody is, hey, you made me better. And if they're better than you, that's even better.
Yes.
That's
my
even
job
better.
To make everybody better than me. I like people. What I don't like is they're not honest. Like a guy that would tell me, Chris, if we do this, I'll tell on you. I respect him more than the guy that instigates and then leaves you hanging.
Yeah.
You know? And those are the instigators. Let's just be honest with each other. We ought to help each other. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well, we're in a culture where people on the top want to make you weak.
Like, are they on top?
Well,
What do
they're
you
in
consider
control.
on top?
They're in control.
That's a different story,
In
yes.
control. Listen, you know, Jordan Peterson said it. I've said it in my life. It's not the strong people you got to worry about. It's the weak people.
It's called power of the weak.
Yeah. Because when weak people have power, they're the most dangerous.
Most dangerous.
And unfortunately, we see a lot of that today. Too much.
I teach the guys I talk to, the only control a man has is self-control. The rest is up to God. Yeah. My goal here is to help children and help my kids, our kids, we're not here, and all kids.
Yes.
Well, you know what, Chris? We're two guys that have been through it, you know, in different ways, but we've been through it from childhood.
Yes.
You know, it started with me from a kid, started with you.
And I know how smart you are, Michael.
Well, I like to think I'm a little bit smart, but I don't know. Let me tell you something.
I make a TV show making fun of the government, thanks to the RICO. You know, I beat the case and I got time for the show. That's bad acting. Some people get Emmys. I went from a camp to a penitentiary.
That's right. I think that's a first.
That's a first. That's how smart I am.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Hey. Here's the worst part. They put me down as a communications threat.
How did that come out?
Meaning
what?
They labeled me as something. My judge made them take organized crime and violence out of the thing. Now, because of the line, do I scream and yell? I just may snap and say, I'll jump up and down each other, whatever. And they give you 5,000, you know, if you need help, you know, just from the Lyme disease. And if I was yelling, my kids laugh at me. When I come in the house yelling, they laugh themselves.
They laugh?
If I say I need to talk to them, what do they do? You know, if one thing I learned, and what people should consider what our fathers taught us is everybody's somebody's daughter, everybody's somebody's wife, everybody's somebody's child. Amen. And I remember a thing my father told me, he says, if you steal money, you can give it back. Don't you give it back, Michael. If you steal money, you can give it back. They put it to bad use. If you steal money, you can give it back. You give a black eye, it'll heal. I call your name, I could apologize. If you take a life, you can't give it back.
Right.
So be sure that person, if they take care of a mother or a daughter or son, that's who you're hurting because their misery and things are over on us. So Even if they take care of a cat. So if they don't take care of anybody and they're that bad, then you can think about it.
Yeah. You know, you made me think. The first guy that got arrested off the picket line was me.
Yeah, I remember the story.
You remember that?
Yes.
Were you there that day?
That was in the early goings of the pickets.
Early going.
Early goings.
Yeah, it was a big line. There was probably at least 1,000 people on the line.
Yes. Well, there was always almost that.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. Some nights 3,000, 4,000, 5,000.
They were getting so mad. You remember, the FBI was throwing water balloons out of the window,
at us.
coming down on us. Yeah, they were so mad. But I had the sign that your father made up. My father was a victim of FBI Gestapo tactics. He was framed and got 50 years, word for word.
Word for word.
Carrying a sign. Cops, they didn't like it, whatever. I walk across the street with my mother and my girlfriend at the time.
And it was by a food truck, right?
Yeah, yeah. I come back, and as I'm walking on 3rd Avenue, some guy yells out, "You guinea, blah, 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 blah." So I said something back to him, and a cop got mad at me. He said, "What are you answering for?" I said, "Well, maybe you should have answered him, right?" Yeah. And he says, "Get over on the other side." And I said, "Who are you talking to?" Anyway, boom, 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 we get in a little scuffle. I threw a punch at him. What was wrong? I threw a punch at him. Well, 5 cops came on me. They started hitting me. I'm down on the ground. My mother's screaming. You know, my mother's going after them because, you know, she was tough. And finally, they picked me up, bring me across the street. Yeah.
And she loved you.
She loved me. She was crazy love, but she loved me.
Yeah.
Brings me across the street. Yeah, crazy love. Put me in a paddy wagon, and your father was there. He came out of nowhere. I didn't know exactly where it was. And he told the whole line, surround the paddy wagon. He wouldn't let them leave. Chris, and I had the handcuffs on me. He negotiated with them for maybe a half an hour.
And he got you free?
No, then he came to me and he said, "Listen, this will go away. They're going to take you to the police station. Barry Slotnick will follow you there." He says, "You'll be out within an hour." And that was it. Yeah. And then he said, he got mad at me. He said, "You're the cop." Yeah. He said, "What's the matter with you? You want to go to jail forever?" You know, he gave me good advice.
Yeah.
He said, "Your father would go crazy."
But he was proud of you, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was proud.
Yeah. He was proud of you.
Yeah, he was happy. After that, he hugged me. He said, "You know, good deal."
Yeah. Good deal. That's what he say.
Good deal. He said, "But you're going to have to take a plea to disorderly conduct. We got to give the cops something." I said, "Joe, I don't care. You know, whatever you tell me to do." And that was it. You know, 5 minutes. I paid a
you used to spend a lot of time talking to you.
Yeah, I paid a $250 fine, and he said, "No, you don't pay that fine." I know, but he paid the fine. Yeah. He said, "No, you don't pay it." He said, "You stood up for the league." I said, "Thank you." No, he gave me a lot of good advice. He really was. Yeah, he was great. He really.
I remember you used to come up to the house and used to talk to you a lot.
Yeah.
Used to sit by the pool and talk to you.
Yes. Hours.
And you heard about your father and whatever.
Yeah.
He would talk to you.
Yeah, it was. Truthfully, I get sad, sentimental when I think about it because you know, I'm ashamed the way it went down. Really.
We're gonna make it right.
This was
for other people's kids.
Yes, this was more than just a little get together here. I think something really good is going to come out of this. Very positive.
My mother used to call me Midas, and then I sponsor. And not only that, when you do good, good comes back. And my father used to say, when you help people's children, you got to protect yours. There were a lot of close calls. Yeah. My daughter died. My son went down the stairs. I mean, just a lot of close calls. Yeah. I was blessed. Me, I'm a soldier of God. Anytime he wants to take me, I'm ready to go.
Well, I want people to hear that. You know, you were blessed through all the adversity that you went through, everything. And you went through more struggles than most people do. And yet you're sitting here and you're saying you were blessed.
Yes.
What more can you ask for? I mean it. That's extremely admirable. And I'm not saying that because you're here. It is.
I learned to look at things that if my father had not died for what he believed in or been a different man, or your father been a different man, we may not be the men we are now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no doubt.
And I was only teasing about Mike Tyson, but I always said I didn't like bullies, but if I was going to fight something, I'd rather fight King Kong. You know, I jumped to the LA Zoo with the silverback gorillas and played with them.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm out of my mind. You know, if you feel me, when they cut me open, the guy says I'm a gorilla.
Yeah?
I don't want to tell you 3 inches. I'm the only guy with a six-pack under my keg. Laughter is medicine for the soul.
No, it's great. It's great.
And
to be able to sit here all these years later and laugh about, you know, and just reminisce, but to come away with a good spirit, it's good.
Well, Holy Spirit.
Really good.
He's here with us now.
Yeah.
Like, you ask these boys, they'll tell you when you leave. I predict things before they happen.
Yeah.
The other night I told my son, he's leaving with this kid, he keeps asking me, how do you do that? And his father was a good consultant. So, Joe, you're going to cut your fingers, stay home. It's 2 in the morning, forget about that. Not that. He goes, Dad, I'm in the hospital. I got 11 stitches. How do you know? Wow. Joey, don't go out in school tonight. You're going to have a fight with Albanians.
With Albanians, yeah.
Then he walks by, he shows me fake ID.
Yeah.
Joe, you're getting pinched tonight. Don't go out with that. No, Dad, I'm just going to dinner. You ended up getting pinched.
Yeah.
More and more of those things happen. And people say it's psychic. People say it's witchcraft. People say whatever. Leave them in touch with the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe the Holy Spirit gives you certain gifts. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
I saw in your eyes that you're looking for that direction.
That's good discernment.
And I get a lot of help from the other side.
Oh.
They think I'm a little crazy.
Well, that's good. It's a good crazy.
Yes, it is.
Good.
To do good things, sometimes it's the normal people that screw you over.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Those are the people you worry about.
What is normal?
I don't know. What's normal for one person is not normal for the next, you know?
What's normal for children should be normal.
Yeah.
What's normal for the elderly, a man takes care of. I'm not saying that women are weak at sex. They're smarter than us.
100%.
Women, children, elderly, the handicap, and the challenge, we're obligated to help. And that, to me, is a real man.
Well, you know what? Not only that, Chris, children, look, some of the stuff that's going on today, I, in my wildest imagination, I would have never even thought. You know, I have to say this. I don't care who gets upset. When we have a man in the White House, who says that gender-affirming surgery for minor kids.
It's absurd because I'm going to tell you why.
But let me tell you what he said.
Children go through rebellion. How do you change it back?
Yes, but let me tell you what he said. Now, you know what that is. That's mutilation. That's surgery.
Self-mutilation.
Self-mutilation. He said that banning that from minor kids is both outrageous and immoral. When you have a leader that's telling you this about children, to me, you're worse than anybody I ever met on the street.
Michael, the devil is not Lucifer. He's Archangel Michael's brother. And he's a warden. These are the kind of people he rules. They want to spread their negativity. Now, if I feel I want to have at 18 or 21 a sex change or do drugs or whatever, I'm entitled to do that. Not because 18 or 21 is the magic age. At that point, you're an adult.
You make your decisions. We have freedom in this country. You want to. It's a terrible thing, but if you want to ruin your body like that, you do it.
They rebel. The rebellion here, because of our society, the act has become so pronounced. So like getting a tattoo, it's like a sex change now.
Exactly.
You follow me?
But let me ask you, how do you feel?
With my fingertips.
How do you feel? I can't even believe what's going on in there. How people are trying to take the rights from parents away from their children.
Michael, they're twisted. Our
demonic.
way is correct.
Yes.
Take the crime out of what they call Italian organized crime, and those morals will set this country straight.
100%, I agree.
Love your mother. Respect children. Respect everything. Stand up as a man.
I totally agree.
Help it. This is what I'm here to do. Now, you've come forward. You've been vocal in certain situations. This is the message. That I honestly believe that the ethics and morals that I grew up with is the reason why I didn't become an axe murderer from what I watched happen to my father. And watched things break down, and I did take care of my children and anybody else's children. And that's how I feel, and that's what makes you a man.
I totally agree with you.
And that's how we change it. We start back in, the church broken down. I hate to say it, women's lib was the worst thing that ever happened.
Took it to the
extreme.
Took it to the nth degree. It was no good.
Fanaticism, any which way is wrong, with anything.
Right. Extremism,
right.
no good.
Fanaticism, extremism. Yeah. Well put. Extreme, I call fanaticism.
Same.
Keep your word. Negotiate. Everything's a negotiation. It makes sense. Listen, reason. These people are angry. They judge people. Democrat, Republican. It's all the same nonsense. How about people? People. About what's right and what's wrong. Let's help. Let's understand. And we'll go further. The ethics we were brought in, we know what the no-nos are. They're not negotiable.
That's right. You can't make them fit into your, whatever it is you're trying to promote. It's right or it's wrong. That's it. That's it. Listen, I think we can make a difference, Chris. I mean that.
That's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here to do.
You'd be a strong voice in our platform.
I'd be a strong supporter.
Yeah, a
Always
strong
around
voice.
people with me.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I was successful, I got to tell you the truth, I've spent the last 10 years raising my children, And this last time in Lyme disease, I had a tick in me for 8 months. Bell's palsy came back. I had 3 strokes, didn't realize it. And I made a decision. It's been blown up now from the prednisone. And I could no longer take the Rocephin. It's the only cure that killed me. So I drew my line in the sand. Either the protocol would kill me, I did it advanced, or the Lyme would kill me, or I beat it. It looks like I may be beating it. And it's way by synapses and neurons firing in the brain. There was the spirochete, which is the parasite blocking it. Now that they're dying, there's black holes in my brain, so I force it. So that's why you see me stop or whatever. But I fight it hard every day. I don't quit.
There's no quit in you.
No, I watch my father every day do that. That's where it came from. So maybe that was the message. And maybe we could teach these kids that their pain is not so good, but I think their pain is larger than my pain. I learned something. I saw this when my brother Joey got arrested. He was very conscious of how the community thought about him. And he just got pinched on a RICO. The whole family was going to jail. There was a guy, Kurt Renfried, he always come to him for advice. And he was in risk of being like getting a ticket of not being able to coach his little league team for 30 days sanction. He came crying to the house while I just bailed my brother out, was in for so many days. He didn't even think that what Joey was going through. And Joey tried to help him. So everybody's pain is bigger because there's own. And your pain, even though what I went through, that doesn't make me more of a hero, I just handle more, maybe have a different breaking point. And until you really understand more pain, you never know. So you got to understand people's pain on their own, and it's important.
Well, let me say this, Chris. There was a Colombo and a Franzese that made their names for themselves way back when and did some good during that time. And maybe those 2 names come together again and see what we can do
in
good
honor
for
of them.
in
The
honor
way
of
they
them.
brought us up.
Yes.
So people see the difference of how we were raised. That we're not animals. That we're men.
Right.
And I'm not getting angry. This is the motivational speech in me. Wake up and see.
Right.
If we're not animals, we'll be doing this now. And what is our motivation?
Right.
Are we trying to hide organized crime?
No. There's no organized crime here.
All right. What are we trying to do?
Trying to help
what our
people.
fathers set out to do.
Right.
And we're going to continue to do it.
We do it.
Got my word.
That's a deal.